Exclusive. Shockwaves reverberate around Erinsborough as Melanie Pearson accidentally reveals she slept with Toady Rebecchi during the Longest Line event. Neighbours Paul Robinson star Stephen Dennis has opened up about the latest developments in his relationship with Terese Willis, played by Rebecca Almaloglu, as her marriage to Toady Rebecchi, Ryan Maloney, lies in tatters. She is devastated after learning that Toady slept with Melanie Pearson, Lucinda Cowden, and has turned to former love Paul for support. While the notoriously devious businessman seems to have mellowed in recent weeks following the death of his son David Tanaka, Takaya Honda, Stefan feels that this is a temporary development. This is despite the fact that he could be back in with a chance with Terese. I think Paul genuinely wants to be with Terese, but if he could, at the same time, get one-upmanship with Toady on that as well, then that's a score, that's a bonus. Paul's never going to change. As much as he says, I'm going to change, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be better, he'll never change. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point of having the character on the show? He ponders. Toady and Paul don't like each other very much. Toady's never had a soft spot for Paul and vice versa. I don't know if people are aware that Paul never calls. I think on very rare occasions when things have been really nice, Paul has actually called Toady. Toady. He always calls him Jared because he doesn't want to have an affectionate name for him like everybody else. And yeah, that comes out, and it certainly comes out in this scenario that's playing out at the moment. Viewers have recently seen Paul search, though, a rubbish tip for the plaque dedicated to Teresa's son, which was thrown away. It was a deeply unpleasant task and something which Stefan said he does out of pure love. I mean, that's how Paul feels for Terese. He didn't do that as a conniving stunt to try and win her over. He did that purely out of love because he understood exactly how she felt. His son had just died, and he knows exactly how Terese feels about the death of her son. So that just gives you in a nutshell how Paul feels about Terese, and also the reaction that Terese had when she found out before Paul about the death of Davi. She was the first one to go and break the news. That's the way that Terese feels about Paul. It is similar that there are still sparks between he pair and teasing their future, Stefan says. We as the actors don't really know what's coming up, even though the executive producer and producer sort of pull us into a room and say this is what's going to happen. We just get a sort of a brief synopsis about what's happening. We don't really know the ins and outs of each storyline. And they might want to milk this one for quite some time, or they might go, yeah, you know what, we have them together or now never get them together. Again, we don't know. We've got absolutely no idea. All we can say is if we get the opportunity for it, Paul and Terese relationship, to happen again. Woo-hoo!